Welcome to Beam, everyone. Let's go through the special requirements first, 5/10 each. First, we have an acro series with a minimum of 2 directly connected flight elements. This does exclude the mount and the dismount. 1 leap or jump that requires a 180-degree cross or side split, a minimum of a 360-degree turn on 1 foot in group 3, and an aerial or salto dismount with a minimum of a B value. All dance D and E are allowed, but they will receive a C credit. 1 restricted acro D or E is allowed. The first element performed that receives value part credit will receive 0.1 D or E bonus. If the first one performed does not earn value part credit, it may be repeated, and if it's successfully repeated later in the routine, it can be used for DE bonus. All allowable D and E elements receive C credit when you're using your evaluations for CV bonus.
And that makes it easier to think about connection bonus. If you have 1 C meeting the criteria for bonus, you get 1/10. If you have 2 Cs, you get 2/10. With the 2-flight principle, the mount can be used, but not the dismount. For bonus using a dismount, you have the 3-flight principle. A 3-flight combo will get you a bonus of 1/10, provided there is a salto, aerial, or that first DE acro with or without hand support. And a mixed series cannot be used for dismount for bonus. Start value. We begin at 9.7. We subtract missing requirements at 0.5 each, subtract missing value parts, needing 3 A's, 4 B's, 1 C, and you can add up to 3/10 in bonus, either all with CV or use 1/10 for that first DE acro performed with value part credit without a fall. For most of the time, this is all you need to think about for start value, but occasionally problems pop up like performing an additional restricted acro to value part standards. In this case, we would have to take another 5/10 from the start value. And if that restricted acro is a dismount, we must take 3/10 more for no dismount. For dismount problems that miss the requirement, there are often additional consequences. Most of these will not receive value part credit. And remember that no value part means no requirement, no bonus, and no composition.
Let's look at our turns. Turn on 1 foot, leaps or jumps with 360 degrees or more may only be missing 89 degrees or less to receive the value part credit. For 0 degrees, it's 0.521, and from 46 through to 90 is 0.15 to 0.2. And remember, the full turn ends when the heel drops, and it's important to watch for that, especially on beam and on floor as well. For our leaps and jumps, we have to always remember that it must be 135 degrees to receive the value for the special requirement. We know our deductions there for missing 1 to 20, 21 to 45, or 46 and more. If it's not 135 degrees, it does not receive special requirement for the 180-degree split, and you would award an A value part. The most common error leap is really the switch leap. The leg swing forward must go to 45 degrees. And if it's not to 45 degrees, you're going to deduct up to 1 for insufficient height of the front leg, but you will award the C value. If the front leg is stag 90 degrees and it never straightens, you will give it an A value. We do expect 180-degree split after the leg change. Lack of tempo and poor rhythm between elements. This is when we're dealing with forward, sideward, or counter acro flight series. The expectations are the arms are in position to immediately take off, legs in plie but are not pumping. We have an 0.521 for continuous but slow, but again, that would incorporate body movements, slight arm swings, legs pumping. They don't fully straighten. And 1.522 would be continuous but quite slow. Body positions are altered and arms swinging between the elements. Please remember, this does not apply to backward flight series of 1 or more flight skills, and it does not apply to sideward to backward acro flight skills. It's the forward, sideward, or forward, backward. All series will be broken if there's a stop, loss of balance, repositioning of the foot or the feet, or they pivot, an extra step, hop, or jump between the elements, deviation from a straight line, not in line with the balance beam, the legs straighten between the elements, as in you're landing in plie, totally straighten and plie again. And kicks and swings of the leg above 45 degrees into the second element would be a reason to break the series. The most common is the back handspring step through round off. So you have to watch for the lead leg swinging through to enter into the round off phase. For a broken series with 2 or more of the same element, no value part can be awarded for the second one. And the example we have for you is back handspring stop, back handspring. The first receives a B, the second has no value part. Executions, concentration pauses of 2 seconds are a tenth, and 2 seconds or more are 2/10. The general rule is count in your head quietly, 1/1000, 2/1000, or another popular method is 1 gymnastics, 2 gymnastics. A new deduction for non-flight walkover type elements are required to show 180-degree split of the legs at one point during the element. It's an up to 2/10 deductions for insufficient split if that does not occur. And our execution, we've kind of gone through that in the other events. We know when our squatting very low with the hips down by the heels for the 3/10 deduction. So glad we have the medium step now. It gives us a little bit of leeway in between from the small and the large, and the flat 0.15 for the medium step. And again, remember, if the gymnast lands in that deep squat, it's up to 3 to the 3/10 deduction, and you will also take a 5/10 deduction for fall if that occurs after the squat landing. Throughout the exercise deductions, artistry is up to 3, each is up to 0.1. And for this, we're looking for choreography and elements and connections and the originality of that. Quality of movement, reflecting personal style, and the quality of expression. The relaxed or incorrect footwork on non-value parts, and incorrect body alignment position or posture in those non-value parts throughout the exercise. Both are up to 3/10 deduction. All 3 of these are up to 2/10 is for insufficient dynamics, insufficient rhythm and tempo, and insufficient sureness. Level 9 composition, lack of variety and choice of acro elements, failure to perform acro skills in 2 different directions is backward, and you must perform something forward or sideward. It will be an 0.5 deduction if the dismount is the only forward, sideward, or only backward element that was performed. Also, a lack of variety and choice of dance elements. Our major overuse is more than 2 wolf or tuck jumps. That will be 0.1 or more than 2 straddle jumps. And also 0.1 more than 1 pivot turn. That's the 180-degree turn on 2 feet with straight legs in the exercise. Remember, it's 2 or more, and you're just going to take the 1/10 deduction once. And lack of dance series within a minimum of 2 dance elements. We're taking 2/10 for no dance series, and insufficient use of the entire beam, up to 1 for all these. We're looking for change in levels, spatial usage using the entire length of the balance beam, and directional usage. In your non-value part choreography, you must show 2 out of 3 directions, moving forward, backward, or sideward, each of 0.05. Our composition, the nice chart that Deanna created, for acro level, up to the level of the competition is up to 2. Our BC and a C acro or aerial, we have 0 deduction. For dance not up to the level, 2 Cs is 0. A B only is 0.2. Very often, the common example is going to be switch leap into straddle quarters, or switch leap to receive no deduction for level 9 composition. And our composition of up to 1 for our dismount, isolated C or acro BB or a dance element into a B acro is 0, and 1/10 for an isolated B or any A element. Common example we're going to see is round off full twist or a gainer pike off the end of the B. Let's take a look at some of the new and upgraded elements you might see. This new element, the full turn at 180 degrees, you're holding onto the leg, both legs are straight. Full turn is a C, a 1.5 is a D, and a double is an E. Some new mounts, the Whipple, it's taking off the board with 2 feet. There's a beat of the legs of about 30-degree separation is expected to a full split. The gymnast may land on 1 or 2 feet, receiving C credit. The other one is the switch leg leap. We're going to have at least 180 degrees on the switch leg leap, and it will land 1-footed. It will get a D value. Some new mounts, any of the round off back handspring mounts, either to 1 arm, 2 arm, swing down, or the back tuck swing down are now receiving D value part. And forward acro elements with value, an aerial round off, 2 feet landing is an E. Also, the front saltos, whether they're tuck or pike, will also receive E credit. Remember, if you take off of 1 foot, it is still a D. There's a couple of other elements, the Raider, which is a lot of jumping and turning, but there's a jump with a change of legs, 1/4 turn to a straddle pike or side split position. And then when we hit the 180-degree leg separation, there's an additional 1/4 turn to finish in cross stand. That's an E. Some variations of a few other things from a rear stand. With your back to the beam, you jump clear straddle over the beam and land in a front support. That will receive a B. And a jump, press, or swing to side or cross handstand to exit with a front walkover will receive B credit.
And that concludes the rapid review for Level 9 Beam. Thank you, Jim and Deanna.